Hi.
Hi.
I am Erika.
And I am Rebel.
And together we are
MangoLuna.
On this episode, we're talking about how to find a curandera.
Correct.
And
yes. Okay. Basically, what we're going to talk about is what is a curandera, how do you look for one, and things to avoid.
yes, that's what we're doing. Okay, so first.
Yes.
What is a curandera to you, Rebel?
Okay, well, I'm going to speak on what I know. When I think of a curandera, I think of someone with indigenous roots who has ancestral knowledge of how to heal. For example, my great-grandmother was a curandera. She was a Mexican Apache, and she was a midwife. She was a businesswoman, and she did limpias and all these things for a lot of the people in San Antonio. So she really helped birth a lot of children in the city. Yeah, and so and you know she would pray over them in Spanish, but also in the Apache that she knew in that language as well, her indigenous language. And my mother talked about how her bathtub was like full of candles, so she never used her bathtub because she had to light so many candles for the different prayers that she had to hold for the different people that she was holding healing energy. So I think for me, like what that represents too is a curandera has a responsibility. Like if you choose to go and like help someone heal, you are now responsible for that person. And so it's a big responsibility to take, and people should not take it lightly.
Yeah.
Right? It's something that should be revered the way you would a medical doctor or the Pope even, or like whatever you really revere highly. That's how curandera should also be treated, I believe.
Beautiful.
What is it for you?
God, sorry, I wanted to say really quick. She was also a Apaluz, so that's so cool. I didn't know that, Rebel.
Yes.
Dang, learn another thing about Rebel today.
Yeah.
For me, a curandera, and there's curanderas and curandera. Curandera to me is someone, I'm a curandera, and I work from the light, and I work with energy. That's what I do. I work with the spirituality to bring it. If it's low, you need to be lifted through your energy. That's what I can do. That's what I do. And then there's all types of curandera, but I am one of those types of curandera.
Yeah, so, and I love how you brought up like that there's curanderos and curanderas, and I have a friend of mine who's Filipina who also, they refer to, you know, their healers as curanderos as well, and she always thought that her link to like healing was through her grandmother, and she found out later through family histories and oral stories that it was actually her great-grandfather who was the curandero, and she always was like, oh, it's got to be one of the women in my life. And what a paradigm shift that was for her to recognize that it was actually, you know, I think it was her great-grandfather, who actually was the healer of the family and of the village. And so it was really this like aha moment. And then one of those things you're like, oh gosh, yeah, we shouldn't just stereotype, right?
Right.
Which is,
it's all women.
Well, yeah, it's all women. It's old. It's like they're going to be in a weeping.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. So now, Erika, tell me, how do you find a curandera? Like, I'm just, you know, floating around here in the city, and oh my God, I can feel the negative energy around me. I'm like, what the heck? I don't want to feel negative. How do I get a curandera? Like, how do I find a curandera?
Well, Rebel, ask around. Ask fucking around. Get to your close circle, whoever you trust most. Ask them like, hey, do you know curandera? Don't be ashamed. Don't have shame on asking for a curandera. You're asking for a medicine. It's just asking for a doctor. That's what it is. So don't take the shame out of it and just say, hey, do you guys know any curanderas or curanderos? And then they look at you weird. They just say, hey, what? I'm making myself better. Like, don't. Okay, if you don't, then move on to the next person. Just keep asking. Or look up even online. I know some people have that online. I don't have my practice online or anything like that. So IM me if you need a curandera, right? But if not, if you're in town, but if not, just ask. That's what I would say. Just ask, the people close to you. Sometimes you don't even know that your friend is a curandera, and you're like, they'll be like, girl, I'm one. And like, oh, okay, good.
Yeah, or you like ask your friend and they're like, oh yeah, I've been going to one for like 20 years, and they've never talked about it before. And you're like, oh wait, so you?
Yeah.
And I think that's like really important too, like to get rid of like the stigmatism and the racism that comes around curandera. Because if I was like, oh, do you know an acupuncturist or do you know a Reiki healer? Everyone's like, oh my God, yeah, of course. But if you say curandera, it's like, what's that? But that is also, that kind of reaction is a form of racism in indigenous cultures. So let's let that go.
Yeah.
Our own internalized
racism.
Yes, exactly.
No, girl.
So yeah, I think again, even just like you said, it's one of those sayings. Like if you ask, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. If you ask the universe. So even if you just sit quietly somewhere and be like, please universe, I'm looking for, I'm open to, send me a curandera, or someone who can help me heal. And then next thing you know, you're getting, you see something on Instagram, or your friends talking about it, and then it comes into your world like organically just because you put it out there in the universe and you asked.
Yeah.
So absolutely. I guess also botanicas, like actual botanicas in your city also oftentimes will have someone who is a curandera, or at least someone who does limpias or reads cards or in that space. So that is one way.
Yes. And which brings us to the next segment with
what to avoid.
What to avoid. And sometimes as you walk into the botanicas, I'm really selective when I go to botanicas and buy what I need for self-limpias or whatever it is that I'm going to do. Really listen to yourself. Trust your intuition. I always tell people, trust your intuition, follow it. And as soon as you want, if you walk into a botanica and it feels eerie or weird, not weird, but eerie, and now be clear, because it's a very thin line, or I don't know how to say that. It's very easy to confuse, feeling odd, walking into a place you never entered before, and you see all these new things, and you see the santos, and you see velas negras y rojas, and someone in red. Like, there's this weird feeling sometimes because you never entered. That's not what I'm talking. I'm talking about, like, it's in your gut to get out. Like, there's something wrong with this, or like, oh my God, like, or maybe even physical. You felt something physically in your body, like, oh, it hurt, or something hurt. You can walk out. That's what I always listen to, and just follow your intuition. So.
Absolutely, because I think that it's really important to understand that people can use light, like dark magic and magic from the light, and so sometimes in these botanicas, which are basically like
if someone works from the light or not from the light, it's their choice, and it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing good about it, right? It's what calls to you, and avoid going against your intuition. If your friend is telling you, let's go get our cards read, or our palms read, or whatever it is, and you just know you shouldn't, because something tells you, then listen to intuition and just don't do anything spiritually unless like you are being guided by you or by your ancestors, or you may call it God, or whatever it is that you call it. Allow that to guide you, to avoid going against any of that stuff when it comes to spirituality. That's what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And also know that in a session, if you do decide to have a limpia, which is like a cleansing of energy, that you are still the one that can like say, this is too much, or stop, or I need a break, or whatever, that you can you can direct that situation in a way.
So another thing is, avoid not going to your limpia because of money. Alrighty peeps, and that is all for our segment of how to find a curandera, what is a curandera, and what to avoid. Hope you guys found this helpful, and please don't forget to follow us, like us, love us, of course, and we are on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Okay, so go see your curandera and go find one and do your thing. Self love. So ciao, bye.